The wine glass trembled in my grip, its dark red surface catching the chandelier's glow like a warning sign. You invited him? Sarah's voice sliced through the stillness of our dining room, sharp and cutting. Her eyes, usually warm, were narrow with something I couldn't place. Anger, fear, or maybe both. I set the glass down, my heartbeat pounding in my ears, and forced a smile. I thought it'd be nice to get to know your boss. Her lips parted, but no words followed. The silence pressed down, heavy and waiting. That morning, the idea had seemed harmless. Sarah had been pulling away for weeks, her laughter rare, her eyes drifting somewhere I couldn't reach. I blamed it on stress. Her new position at the firm demanded long hours and late nights. Whenever she mentioned her boss, Daniel, the name stuck in my head like a song you can't shake. He's intense, she'd said once, her tone clipped. I hadn't thought much of it at the time. But then came the buzzing phone at odd hours, the way she angled the screen for me, fingers quick to lock it. I told myself it was nothing, just work, just paranoia. So I invited Daniel to dinner, an attempt to bridge the distance, to connect with a world that seemed to be pulling her away. I spent the day preparing. Roasted lamb, rosemary, our best dishes pulled from the cabinet. The house smelled of effort, of hope. I wanted her to see me trying. But now, standing here, her reaction made my skin crawl. "You shouldn't have done that, Mark," she said, her voice low, almost hissing. She turned away, gripping the back of a chair until her knuckles blanched. "Why not?" I asked, my tone lighter than I felt. "He's your boss. Thought it'd be good for networking." She didn't answer, just stared at the table, her jaw tight. The air thickened, like the moment before a storm breaks. The doorbell rang. Sarah flinched. "I'll get it," I said, steadying my voice though my chest was tight. Daniel stood on the porch, his tailored suit sharp, his smile polished. "Mark, right?" he said, offering his hand. His grip was firm, his eyes scanning me as if I were a page he'd already read. "Thanks for having me." I nodded, letting him inside, though his ease unsettled me. It felt too practiced, as though he'd walked through this doorway before. Dinner began with shallow pleasantries, the clink of cutlery filling the strained air. Sarah barely touched her food, her gaze flickering between him and me. I tried to keep the mood light. Her job, the firm, her promotion. "Sarah's been incredible," Daniel said smoothly, swirling his wine. "Absolutely essential." His eyes lingered on her. She dropped her gaze, her cheeks coloring. The sharp pang I felt in my chest, I dismissed as pride. She's just proud, I told myself. But as the night stretched, the cracks deepened. Daniel brought up a late-night meeting last week, one Sarah had never mentioned. "You were brilliant," he said warmly, almost intimately. Her fork froze for a heartbeat before she quickly recovered. "Just doing my job," she murmured. I smiled, but my mind snagged. Last week, she told me it was a client dinner. The bitterness of my wine burned down my throat. Daniel's story soon became too personal. He knew her favorite coffee, the little habit she had of humming when nervous. Each detail landed like a stone. I watched her, searching for the woman who used to laugh at my bad jokes, who held my hand through restless nights. She was still there, but blurred like a figure behind frosted glass. Excusing myself, I carried the plates to the kitchen, gripping the counter to steady myself. My heart pounded as the pieces clicked into place. The late nights, the secretive phone, the way she'd stop saying, "I love you" first. I wanted to be wrong. God, I needed to be wrong. When I returned, Daniel was leaning closer, his hand brushing hers as he reached for the wine. She didn't pull away. The room tilted. My chest hollowed. "Sarah," I said, sharper than I intended. She flinched, snatching her hand back. Daniel's smile never slipped, but his eyes studied me carefully. The rest of the dinner blurred. I played the host, poured drinks, forced laughter, but every word was a lie. When Daniel finally left, the silence that filled the house was suffocating. Sarah busied herself with dishes, her back to me. "What's going on, Sarah?" I asked quietly from the doorway. She froze, her hands in the soapy water. "Nothing," she said too quickly. It was just a weird night. Her voice trembled, and in her eyes I saw it. The flicker of guilt, fragile and fleeting. Tell me the truth, I whispered, stepping closer. My heartbeat pounded like a drum. She turned, her face pale, lips parting as if to speak, then closing again. The silence between us told me everything. The late nights weren't just work. The texts weren't just colleagues. The man I'd welcomed into my home wasn't just her boss. "Mark," she whispered, tears rising. I didn't mean for it to happen. The word struck like a physical blow, knocking the air from my lungs. I wanted to shout, demand answers, but no sound came. Instead, I saw her, truly saw her, for the first time in months. The woman I'd loved, the one I'd built a life with, now felt like a stranger. Her pain was real. Her regret mirrored my heartbreak. I turned away, vision blurring. The dining room, with its carefully set table and flickering candles, felt like the stage of a play whose ending had already been written. I didn't know what came next, anger, forgiveness, or something between. But as I stood there, her betrayal wrapped around me like a shadow. And I knew one thing for certain. The life we'd shared was gone. And whatever remained would never be the same.